If you drive for DoorDash, you might be thinking, there's no way that the company does that. Or certain Dashers, there's no way that they get that. Or these Dashers make that. Well, that's why, yes, in this video, I have 7 of the top DoorDash Dasher myths that you and I need to expose right now. And you're going to want to hear each and every one of these because, yes, they're directly related to your pay. Number 1, newer Dashers gets better offers. Wouldn't it kind of be a pain if you've done already 100, 1,000? You can let me know down below how many deliveries have you done, and especially like if you've done 5,000 plus deliveries and yet newer Dashers get better offers. That just means, let's say, higher paying offers. Oh, actually, this one is actually kind of true. Look at this. Here is a new DoorDash Dasher profile just from late 2024. They say that new Dashers basically get a sneak peek here to these features on their rewards program called Dasher Rewards. And for your first 50 deliveries, a brand new DoorDash Dasher who has taken 0, you can see here, 0 deliveries gets increased priority for higher paying offers. Oh, that's not it. They also get the priority access to Dash Now. So if your sub marketplace is really busy and that Dash Now, that red button tends to disappear because it's busy, the new Dasher gets priority access to that button. And frankly, it doesn't matter, I just thought of this, how much they decline. Unlike V1 Dasher Rewards, you have to work so hard to get 50% or 70% acceptance rating to get the same thing, priority access to higher paying orders. They can basically decline as much as they want and they'll continue to get priority access until 50 deliveries. Well, what about number 2 though? So on the other side here, if you've done 100, 1,000, 5,000 plus deliveries, does DoorDash in any way punish, let's say, like veteran or more experienced Dashers? Now, I was first activated on DoorDash in 2018. I've driven on DoorDash in different marketplaces as well. And in all my research, because all I do here is help you make money in different side hustles, there has been nothing official that ever says anything about their deep algorithm as far as who is really sent offers. I mean, yes, proximity to the restaurant helps. Those rankings on the version 1 of Dasher Rewards, Silver, Gold, and Platinum certainly help because I just told you it's linked to priority access to higher paying offers. But solely being a more experienced Dasher, there's been nothing that I've ever read or even listened to that concretely says you're punished for being a more experienced Dasher. And actually, listen to this. In the past 30 days, there's actually been a new feature that would help more experienced Dashers. This is reserved zones. So in a reserved zone, those new Dashers that we just talked about, they can't even go online because it's reserved and it's at capacity for them. And then more experienced Dashers, you still have access to Dash Now until that entire sub-marketplace eventually reaches full capacity and that turns into a gray zone. That kind of helps you as a more experienced Dasher, but do you think sometime, let's say in 2025, DoorDash is going to expand filters like that? Like you can't go online because this is what reserved is. The reserved says you can't go online until you've completed 20 deliveries in this zone. Okay. Or let's say 300 deliveries as in an actual example. But imagine that scales in 2025. Like you can't go online until you've done 500, 1,000 deliveries. Is that going to curb saturation or just frustrate drivers? Well, what about number 3 that I basically carry a lot of the times? I'm betting a lot of you do as well. So comment this number, comment the number itself down below. Do you get punished for having a low acceptance rating? You're an independent contractor. You can decline offers as much as you want. You can have a 0% or 1% acceptance rating as long as you're honestly trying to take work here, not just fraud the system and just tie it up and decline everything. But simply having a low acceptance rate, are you punished in any way? No, but kind of yes. Here's what I mean. So on version 1 of Dasher Rewards announced mid 2023, I told you that program is in part based on your acceptance rating. So the silver, gold, and platinum, based on that acceptance rating, if you don't have a high acceptance rating, in essence, at least indirectly, I'm going to be fair here, indirectly, it feels like you're kind of punished because platinum has the highest level of priority, and then gold, and then silver, and then you're waiting here in the fourth spot, unranked because you're low AR. Just having a low acceptance rate, actually consider version 2, there you go, of Dasher rewards. The overall Dasher rating pilot program, that does not favor acceptance rates, solely. You get points based on your different metrics. Acceptance rate is included in that, but it's not like the main hinge as V1. So let's imagine on that V2, the overall Dasher rating, if you just have a low AR, again, we can kind of take this and say, yeah, you get punished because you get lower points and you'll need those points now to qualify for Dasher rewards. So there's that. It is kind of hard to just organically say it doesn't affect you because it kind of doesn't, because like algorithmically you're still being sent offers here. But if there's any program that provides any value to AR, either V1 or V2, indirectly, it still kind of feels like there's some kind of punishment there. Number 4, you're an independent contractor, but can the company deactivate you without warning? Again, yes and no. So you're an independent contractor, you're not an employee. So yeah, they could let you go if they wanted, but they don't really want to do that unless there's a reason. But is there any reason that they could deactivate you without any warning? Well, here's their service policy, basically their deactivation policy here. So you could be deactivated if there was something egregious on your account here, sure. Then yes, they could deactivate you. But basically everything else, extreme lateness, being extremely late to the pickup or the drop off here, not delivering the offer here, order never arrived, contract violations for that. And then anything that's listed here as well, especially if repeated, yeah, you can be deactivated. But for most of these, you're going to get a warning, then, more warnings, finally deactivation. Number 5 might be the most, glaring, the most contentious here. And I need to know your thoughts on this, because the idea that DoorDash doesn't care about Dashers, period. I'm going to tell you that's false. And I know it feels like, hey, I'm getting low dollar offers, decline it. $2, $3, $4 offers. If it doesn't make sense for you, you're an independent contractor, you can decline that stuff. And it's going to be up to you if you want to increase your, let's say, AR for V1 or V2 of Dasher rewards. Simply put, they have a 3-pillar approach to the business. They have merchants that they have to satisfy, customers that to satisfy, and workers, Dashers, that they need to satisfy. They want everyone to be happy while also turning a profit, while also running leanly, but also having money for R&D, research, etc. But here's the thing that I've seen. Number 1, yeah, it's not going to be 2019, 2020 into 2021, crazy high pay, restaurant closures, extremely $4, $5, $6 peak pay. That was an outlier. That's not the marketplace anymore. But I have seen all the years that I've done DoorDash and basically any major gig app. That's why I would love to have you subscribe here. Be a part of the team. All I do is help you make money in different side hustles. Check out the website, link down below to help you out. But I've seen a lot of agility, at least from DoorDash, that I've not seen from any other gig app in basically any other niche. Case in point. A lot of Dashers, myself included, and I just talked about this constantly here, and I try to always give you a neutral stance, did not like that AR-based rewards program. I've said that before. I don't like any AR-based rewards, your acceptance rate on any platform. And it was launched, the V1 Dasher rewards, like I said, mid-2023. It expanded quickly, but then DoorDash got a lot of feedback like, I don't really love this. The 50% AR, 70%, and then the platinum. I can't do 100 deliveries in a rolling 30 days if I only have 5 hours extra a week, or I just want to dedicate 5 hours. Maybe I want to drive on different apps. I got family stuff. I got a new family. I got friends. I got dating, social life. I got my 9 to 5. I don't want to dedicate 15 hours a week, 20 hours to get your 100 deliveries, whatever it's going to be. So DoorDash said, like I told you, the V2 Dasher rewards, that was directly because of the feedback they were getting from V1. They said, okay, we get it. Knock out the 100 deliveries in 30 days. You don't have to do that anymore. Change number one. Change number two, okay, forget about the acceptance rate. This new V2, it's not just your acceptance rate. You can qualify for a Dasher rewards tier with a, let's say, 20% acceptance rate, a more reasonable acceptance rate, not 50 and not 70, and you'll still get some priority access. They updated the deactivation appeals process. That was pretty recent, November of 2024, because if you do get deactivated, false claims, that is a big complaint that I've heard from Dashers like you. I delivered that thing. I went from A to B. I took the picture. You can check my GPS. So DoorDash updated an in-app deactivation appeals process that gets you better communication, gets you an expected timeline for resolution versus just hanging out there. Because imagine you're doing this, let's say more hours, or you're relying on this income. You want to at least have some kind of roadmap of what's going to happen. And then December 2024, pretty recent at the time of filming this video, I'll ask you, how frustrating is it to be out there dashing and you feel like, for whatever reason, that someone is working that is not authorized to be on the Dasher platform? Let's say they bought an account, they have dupe accounts, they have two phones, and you can see they're running DoorDash on both phones, let's say theirs or a bot account and a friend's, partner's, spouse's account. So in December 2024, DoorDash recommitted to even more re-verification checks during the dash. That's just like the selfie you take to verify your identity. That is the identity that is linked to the profile. Because prior, if you didn't know this, it was done before or after the dash. So if someone was using someone else's account, and let's say it is someone that they knew, like a roommate or something, they could just have the person do the selfie before they go online, maybe pause the dash or just go online from home there, selfie's done, do their dashing, drive back home with it, let's say paused or even still online, then go offline and the selfie will pop up again. They'll just say, hey, here, take the selfie again. So now DoorDash committed to 150,000 Dashers a month. And I'm not sure, if that's just US or it's targeted or what, but that's what they said. 150,000 a month to re-verify their identity during the dash. So if you bought an account or if you're sharing an account with someone, how's that going to work during the dash? It's certainly going to be a lot harder to scam versus just before and after. Number 6, here's a good one. Peak pay is very important. The per delivery bonus or the per active hour bonus now, but it's all fake. Listen, I am looking on the outside just like you. I have a Dasher account. I have no access to the internal data or algorithm, which I would love to see, by the way, the deep algorithm of how they assign offers, or in this case, how they assign peak pay. So I have no proof that peak pay is fake. Does it feel like sometimes they're offering $3, $4 peak pay, which is pretty high now, I'd say, in 2025, like even $2. Sometimes your marketplace might never get peak pay, so $2 is a lot. Peak pay is meant to get more Dashers online, typically in times of high demand, high order volume. Now, I will say, I've listened to Uber's and DoorDash's quarterly calls for the past, 4 years or maybe even more. And Uber recently said that they do use bonus pay to move drivers around. I'm not sure if that was surge pay or what that is, or boost pay, whatever they use. That was directly from their CEO, Dara Khosrowshahi. So DoorDash, it's really just based on those sub marketplaces because Uber can really target surge pay anywhere they want. Peak pay, it's just kind of overlaying, like the entire sub marketplace. A way for us to measure that is the order volume that you're getting in part, because obviously this isn't a perfect science. But if you go online and you continue to get offers, because you should get offers when there's peak pay, because peak pay does what? It signals an area that's getting orders. That's why they need bonus pay. They need Dashers out there. There's orders being sent out. You should still be getting orders. Now, if you don't, again, I want to give you a fair stance here. It could just mean more and more Dashers went online because they saw the $3 peak pay and or they scheduled. The zone is getting at capacity anyway. And yes, it's busy, but they also have a lot of Dashers. That's why it's tricky to really understand if peak pay is always worth it. And lastly, something that is another thing that's very hotly debated here that yes, directly relates to your pay. And unfortunately, it's not something that happened once. So does DoorDash take or manipulate? Do they take your tips? You know, your customer tips, because as an independent contractor or DoorDash Dasher, you're supposed to get 100% of the customer tip. So here's their pay breakdown. It's base pay, company contribution, plus any promotional pay, challenges, peak pay, plus that customer tip. They're separate components that add together to equal your pay. Now, I want to say no, that DoorDash does not, we'll say, even touch or manipulate the tips here. But they did kind of get in trouble years ago and settled a lawsuit because they were using customer tips to subsidize, to pay some of their contribution, that base pay. Okay, well, I think a lot of us know that none of these really massive companies are completely perfect. So what happens? You know, one time is fine enough. But it wasn't one time. Just recently, November 2024, they settled an even larger lawsuit in Illinois about the same exact thing. I've never seen issues with my pay, but then again, how would you necessarily see it? There's an offer card now that breaks down the pay, the base pay, the tip, and then any promotional pay. So since we're talking about food delivery, I'll just leave that one up to you, some food for thought.